How you doing, good people? This is the 8-Bit Animal, and today we're going to talk about a piece of history. And not just because this game takes place in the Middle Ages, but also it's historical because it's the first title published by Cinemaware. Cinemaware was a really cool PC developer and publisher that honestly didn't last as long as they were only around for like 5 years, and they came and went quietly. Some of the stuff they put out on the market was pretty cool, and this was the first of those games, and you could see the promise here, but it just left us wanting because the original release was missing some things, and this NES release is kind of lacking in like graphical fidelity and stuff like that. This was published originally in 1986. NES release came in 1989. And yeah, it was another in a long line of games published by Konami without Konami's name being on them. Today, we're going to take a look at Defender of the Crown. Now, in Defender of the Crown, you select one of a group of Saxons who have just come back from the Holy Land, and you visit your friend Robin Hood, in Sherwood Forest, and Robin proceeds to tell you that the king of that region has been killed, and the area has fallen into disarray, and they need someone to unite the people, and that would be you. Well, in the ads for this game, there's no mention of the immense amount of strategy involved in this game. This is a strategy game. They sold us on those tournaments, the jousting and Morning Star battles and all that. But you don't do a lot of that. They also sold us on the fencing, the sword fighting aspect of the game. You do a little more sword fighting than you do jousting and battling with Morning Stars. And for all intents and purposes, this game should have been a lot cooler than it was, but it feels a little dry on the NES. And I don't know whose fault that is. I'm probably going to put the blame on Cinemaware because Cinemaware just wasn't necessarily used to working with the NES hardware. And so what we're left with is what we've seen several times before this year. A game with a lot of promise that just feels kind of flat. But at least it controls okay, I guess. If you decide you want a copy of Defender of the Crown, you can get a copy for less than $10. Matter of fact, I would recommend you don't spend more than $10 on this game. It's an okay game, but again, it's lacking a bit. There's only so many jousts and Morning Star battles you can do before that gets dull. Now, learning the physics and the aiming and all that for the catapults is actually kind of fun. But there's only so much of that you can do before it gets boring. So, yeah, if you really think you need a copy of Defender of the Crown, go for it. They're cheap. Otherwise, though, I would probably steer clear because this game is kind of dry. This has been the 8-Bit Animal, and I'll catch you beautiful people tomorrow. Tomorrow. Alright, so you take an R-rated movie, make it into a children's show, and then give us a terrible video game on top of that. Yeah, that tracks.